Well, here I am. I'm back again, and it's all been due to just this, a very, very short piece of cable. And that piece of cable is an adapter cable that plugs the transducer into the chart plotter. Basically all it is this this plug here is the Raymarine plug for the more modern piece of equipment, and this plug here is the Raymarine plug for the older equipment. And obviously my chart plotter is an older chart plotter and has a different plug on it, and this has taken weeks and weeks and weeks to get here. Not only that, I mean, look at it, it's literally this long, and pound for pound is probably the most expensive thing I've bought for this boat. To put it into real terms, that was about £120, probably about $140, something like that, just for that little tiny bit of cable. But unfortunately I needed it, because without it the transducer wouldn't work, and the transducer, if you remember on my last video, was the last thing that needed doing to this boat to get it off the dock. So anyway, time to get the transducer put in. Okay, so one of the things I don't like is having lots of holes in my boat, and so there was no depth indicator on the boat, and so I decided that I'd get an in-hole transducer, which I thought was a great alternative, and here it is, just down here at the moment, not quite fitted. So this is my transducer just here. It is going to go in there. You can see I've started making some markings for it. So to fit the transducer we have this, which is what mounts it, and as you can see it's angled so that the angle of the hull can be taken into account, because it has to be put on so it's nice and vertical. So we first put this in, then this part here clips into there, and finally this then goes on top of it, and when it goes on top of it, it should be mounted so it's absolutely horizontal in each direction. So the way this is done is, well, you are actually supposed to measure the angle of the hull. It's not as easy as it seems, so what I'm doing is I'm doing it so that setting it with a spirit level, and I think I've got it about right at the moment with my marks in the hull. And if we put it like that, we should be in the right place. And this is just sealed down with Sikaflex, and then, as I say, there's the collar that clips onto this when it's set in place, and then this fits into the collar. This bit here, the main transducer itself fits into the collar, and when it's all done, that should be perfectly horizontal, we hope. I mean, the main problem with these is there's so many different parts that fit together. This has to fit, oh sorry, the wrong way up. This has to fit in here and get screwed into there, and then this clips onto there, so you've got to make sure that it's in the right position when it's finally clipped, rather than the right position when you slip it in. I think I've got that. I hope I've got that. It's one of those things, it should be perfect, but I'm finding it's very, very difficult to do it absolutely perfectly. One of the possible problems is that this boat has got quite a flat hull, whereas I think these things are designed for a much more angled hull, and so trying to get this exactly in the right place is not as easy as I thought. But as I say, I think we're there now. So as you can hopefully see, the ring. Be careful of that. The ring here is sealed down with Sika. I have actually connected the collar on there. That actually took longer than you would imagine, because the screw holes here are very deep and the screws are very small. It meant going out and buying a brand new screwdriver just to manage to fit it. So yeah, this is where all the time goes with these jobs. You're running to and from shops buying screwdrivers, and you would think that they would understand. If you're living on a boat, you're not necessarily going to have one of every size of everything. So anyway, we're all done there. This just clips on here, and inside, let's take it back off so you can see. Now inside here, it's supposed to be a form of oil, I believe, but well, we're in Langkawi, and I don't want to keep going on about it, but things are just not available here. And the Raymarine supplier has said, well, yeah, you can't get that oil here, and Raymarine say that you can just use water. Now, other people say a sort of, not antifreeze, but a sort of like not antifreeze liquid can be used. Once again, having trouble getting hold of it, so I've just gone with the Raymarine idea, and yeah, water. Put you back. So as I say, once we're done, if we get this in the right position, which is there, it just seals down and it should be ready to use. Let's put that back on. What we've been waiting for is a connector that connects the cable from here to there. Done, it's all plugged in, and as you can hopefully see just down here, we have sonar flashing, which means that, yeah, it's actually working. So if we press that one, hopefully, yeah, there we go. And just here we have our depth being shown, which is 15.1 foot, but at some point I'm going to have to set up the chart plotter properly with the understandable depth of meters, and also the draft of the boat, so that we know how much we've got below the keel. But yeah, for now, that little job that I've been sitting here for a month waiting to be done took about a couple of hours. So I've just started editing this video, and I realised that I haven't told you the reason for the big delay for that little tiny bit of wire. Basically what it is, it's a Raymarine part. Raymarine has an agent here, but they don't actually keep much stock, or almost any stock. Now, I don't think this is something that is peculiar to Raymarine. I was watching another channel the other day, that's Sailing Yabba, and they needed a new transducer, and that one was a Garmin, and she actually flew to America to collect that one, because obviously they knew there was going to be a hell of a delay. Now, it wasn't only the fact that I had to get it from Raymarine and they had to send it from wherever. I don't know if it's America. They have quite a big place in Australia, I understand, but also at the time it happened to coincide with a very big holiday here in Malaysia, which was Ramadan. Obviously, being a majority Muslim country, they celebrate Ramadan quite a lot, and it actually closed down the whole island for about a week at least, and Kuala Lumpur airport for about 2 weeks, because people were taking holidays before and they just didn't have the staff to sort parcels incoming. So it sort of got stuck in Kuala Lumpur airport for, I think, a good 2 weeks. So yeah, that's why probably it took around about a month to get that from ordering and to actually receiving. So yeah, people that are, or if any of you are ever thinking of stopping off somewhere to collect parts or to do work on your boat, probably a good idea to order these things well in advance, so that they're there waiting for you when you get there. Otherwise, yeah, you've got a long wait. While we were waiting, I did a few other small things that needed to be done. So let's just take a quick look at what other things I have done. So as I think I've already talked about in a previous video, I had some davits fitted, and we had a 450 watt solar panel put on there. So with the old solar panel that I kept, that gives us 620 watts of solar power in total. Now that's a little bit over the top for the batteries I've got, but the reasoning behind it is that the extra power actually makes it so that in the morning and evening, before the sun fully rises and the sun is fully up, it starts charging quite efficiently. So that means we get longer power from the sun, if you like. So we did that, and also obviously the davits are for the dinghy. Now the problem with that I found, which I wasn't expecting, is that the dinghy I've got is a inflatable base rather than aluminium floor, and that means that there aren't any real good fixing points or raising points for it. Obviously you can use the transom down here. You can use the transom to raise the rear of it, which I did, but on the front of it the only real fixing points are either here or down here, neither of which are really suitable for keeping a dinghy up. So what I've done is I've got these lifting straps, and these just run around underneath the dinghy when I want to raise it, and they hold it quite securely. So we've done that. For anchoring, we're going to be using what you call a trip line, and a trip line is a line which is here. It is, if I can climb across, hold on. It is attached to the anchor, I think you can see just here. It runs to a ball there, and the idea is that the ball marks where your anchor is, and also if you need to, you can then unclip that. I have another line over here which I can just clip onto it, and that line I can run back to my winch on the mast over there, and that means I can use the winch to pull the anchor out if it gets stuck or if it's particularly badly embedded in mud. And around here I've been told that a lot of the anchorages and a lot of the seabed is very, very thick mud, and it does get very, very difficult to pull an anchor out. A lot of people, even on their windlasses, they tend to use the motion of the sea, so they'll pull it until it's tight and then wait for a wave, pull it in, and hope that the boat can actually help pull it out, because it puts so much pressure on the windlass. So as I say, I was a bit concerned about that. So as I say, this is what we have decided to do. We're going to try using a trip line, and that means, as I say, I've got the whole of the power of the winch on the mast to pull it out if I need to, and that just pulls the actual anchor out, and then we can manually pull it up onto the deck. Now the trip line is a bit of a controversial choice, actually. I've spoken to a lot of people about it, and some of them like it and some people don't like it, especially other boaters don't always like it, because it means we've got a mooring buoy stuck out marking our anchor, which I don't see as a huge problem, and people shouldn't be going over your anchor. It also tells people where your anchor is, so they don't run their chains over the top of your anchor and get them get them tangled up. So to me, I think it's a positive thing. But as I say, there are some of the older guys here that think it's not a good way to go. But needs must. I need to be able to pull out the anchor. I need to be able to make sure that if it gets stuck in deep mud, I can get it back on deck. And so that's the choice I'm going for at the moment. There are other ways of doing it. I do actually have an anchor ring. That's another way of doing it. And if it comes to it at some point, I will be showing you how that works. But yeah, we will see how our trip line works, and we're going to see that, spoiler alert, next video, because I'm ready. I'm leaving. I'm not sure why I'm showing you this. This is my guilty secret, if you like. Yeah, and here it is. So my my little outboard, a little bit old, but it should be okay. And yeah, as you can see, it's sort of taken apart. It was suggested that I needed to put a new impeller in it, and yeah, the impeller wasn't great. But, and this is the big problem, when you go to reassemble this thing, I'm not sure if you can see it, but just inside here, let's take this out a little bit more. Just inside here we have a little water pipe, and the little water pipe needs to slot in just here, and when you go to put it back together again, you can't actually get anything in there to line it up. And yeah, I'm having real problem putting this back together again, so I've decided it's time to let the professionals do their job. So this morning I'm going to be off to an outboard shop, and I'm going to let them put it back together again. Hopefully they'll do a better job than I will. Now this is one of those, taking advice from other people is not always, well, I think it's a good thing to do, but the person that advised me to change the impeller basically said, oh, it's an easy job. Took me 5 minutes to do mine. So I took it apart, and yeah, the impeller went in nice and easy, no problem at all. And then I tried to put it back together again, and it was a nightmare. And this particular person turned up and watched me trying to put it back together again, and then mentioned, oh yeah, it took me 3 days to get mine back together again. Why didn't he tell me that in the first place? I'd have just taken it to someone to do it. But anyway, not to worry. Hopefully we can get it done today. So our outboard is back and repaired. It was actually a small part that was missing, and that part is what lines up that water pipe. So that's why I couldn't do it. There was the bit that just wouldn't allow me to do it. So luckily they had that part in stock. They did it in about 10 minutes, whereas I was struggling for a day to do it. So I think a good idea to take it to the professionals sometimes. So ladies and gentlemen, it looks as if I've run out of excuses for staying here now. There's pretty much nothing else that I need to get myself out of here. And so, as I hinted a little bit earlier on, the next video will be me leaving and going to find my first anchorage. A bit nervous, but there we go. I'm sure it'll be fine. The first little journey isn't going to be far. We're only going to be going about 6-7 kilometres, 6 or 7 nautical miles down the coast to a small island, which is a good place to practice my anchoring. Obviously I've never anchored this boat before, so I'll need somewhere that's a little bit quiet and maybe a little bit secluded, so that I can make my mess ups all on my own without people standing there staring and laughing at me. So yeah, I think that's all I can do for this this particular week. As I say, we're there, and I'm going to be leaving tomorrow. Wish me luck. So as ever, thanks for watching. Please remember to leave likes, and if you haven't already, subscribe, because as I say, we're going to be doing a little bit of travelling around from now on, and hopefully we can see some quite interesting and beautiful places. So I look forward to you joining me then, and once again, thanks for watching. And just one more, please like, subscribe, do everything like that, and let's make this channel a bit more successful. Thank you very much. Goodbye.